Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Um, I hope you guys are keeping well. Hope you guys are staying safe. As always, smash the like button on this video. Hit the subscribe button. Share the video to help the channel get out there. I really appreciate your support, all that good stuff. And let's get straight into this video. Okay, I've been asked by one of my subscribers, Burning Desire, to talk about Virgil Ortiz and talk about Spence. But I'm going to talk about Spence and Crawford first before I not just talk about Virgil Ortiz, I talk about Jaron Boots Ennis. I always get a lot of questions. Who do you think wins the fight between Spence and Crawford? And I've been quite straight up with you guys in the sense that I think Crawford beats Errol Spence at this point. A couple of years ago, I thought Errol Spence would beat Terence Crawford. I always favored Errol Spence. I thought the size, the strength might be a problem. And Terence Crawford was kind of unproven. But Terence Crawford has seemed to get better and better and better as the years have gone by. And he seems like there's no slowing down. It doesn't matter who you put in front of him. It seems like he's looking spectacular. He looked good against Porter. And I know Steven said that, he didn't look that great. And Porter was actually ahead in that. But if you look at Porter against Spence, Spence didn't look too good in that fight either, if we're totally honest. He didn't look great, and if we're honest, Terence Crawford closed the show. Irrespective of what you think of the stoppage, Terence Crawford's closed the show. He got Porter. Porter was hurt worse than I've seen him hurt. If you look at when he went down against Spence, his legs were fine. He got back up. He was actually shouting to Spence. But if you look at the Crawford Porter fight, Crawford hurt him. I haven't seen Porter hurt like that before. His legs were he was in trouble, and I felt like Crawford was about to close the show. And Crawford, and you know what really I found impressive and what really stood out for me about Crawford is the round before Crawford knocked Porter down. Crawford was speaking to his corner team, and I think his corner team said to him, "You're down." And he said, "What? I'm down?" And if you look at the way Crawford picked up the pace, right, in that next round, and he knew he went out there looking to hunt Porter and looking to get him out of there. That really impressed me, because what that showed is urgency. He knew that, whoa, I'm down here. I've got to put the foot on the gas. He put the foot on the gas and he closed the show. And that's what really impresses me about Crawford. Irrespective of what you think of the stoppage, look at the urgency shown by Terence Crawford. Look at the urgency. Whereas when Spence fought Crawford, Spence wasn't able to get Crawford out of there. Spence wasn't able to get Porter out of there, even though, that fight was close. I'm pretty sure his corner was telling Spence that, listen, this fight's close. You've got to take the bull by the horns. But Porter was just too relentless in that fight, and Spence couldn't really grab it by the scruff of the neck, whereas Crawford did. And Crawford, for me, hurt Porter most he's been hurt in a fight before. I don't think anyone's been able to hurt Porter like that, the way Crawford hurt Porter. And I think all of the people that were saying that, Crawford's fought nobody, Crawford's this, that, he's a cherry picker, all had their mouths closed by Crawford, because he fought Porter and he did a job on him. Irrespective of what you think that, the fight was close, irrelevant. When Crawford needed to get the job done, he got it done. Irrespective how you win, he won. And he won by stoppage. No matter how you see the stoppage, no matter what you think of his performance, he won by stoppage. His corner, which is Kenny Porter, Sean Porter's corner, pulled him out because they didn't think he could go on. So Crawford did what he got to do. And like I said, Crawford's growing on me. And Spence, on the other hand, had a lot of issues outside the ring. He's had a lot of issues outside the ring, which we know, which we're not going to go over again. And for me, that has had an impact on Spence and probably will have an impact on how he does against Crawford. We don't know, because he looked okay against Garcia, but Crawford's another level. So if he has declined a little bit from what he's had to suffer, Crawford's going to exploit that, because Crawford's that great. So I think most people now are edging towards Terence Crawford. In my opinion, Terence Crawford will become undisputed champion and beat Errol Spence. That's just my opinion. However, I will say this. They better get it done quick. They better get that fight made quick. They better get that fight made quick. They better get that fight made quick. Because there are two young monsters that are waiting in the wings. And their names are Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. And Burning Desire, you asked me how Virgil Ortiz would get on with those guys. Let me bring Jaron Boots Ennis in there. Because for me, Jaron Boots Ennis beats Virgil Ortiz. And Virgil Ortiz is a problem for Crawford. And he's a problem for Spence. Virgil Ortiz is a very big welterweight. He's very strong, right? And he punches very hard. And he throws in combination. That is a nightmare matchup for Crawford and Spence. To be honest with you, I don't know how... after watching Crawford Kavaliauskas gave Crawford issues. Just the sheer size, the strength, the power. Ortiz is better than Kavaliauskas. He punches as hard, if not harder. He's a quicker fighter, faster hands. And he's a dangerous fighter. So I don't know. Stylistically, that matchup is dangerous for Crawford. Dangerous. And it's also dangerous for Spence. Virgil Ortiz is a horrible fight. Right now, I couldn't tell you. I would slightly lean towards Crawford against Virgil Ortiz. In terms of Errol Spence, I would say Virgil Ortiz a 50-50 fight. You'd probably have to lean towards Spence. But again, we don't know what Spence we're going to get. We don't know where Spence is at. So we just don't know where these guys are, or where Spence is at, just because of what he's had to go through of late. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one for me. I like Errol Spence. And I've always thought, I've always favored him to beat Crawford back 2 years ago. Now I've changed my mind completely. Because of the recent, things that have happened. But for me, Virgil Ortiz is a 50-50 fight with Errol Spence. Just styles make fights. And I think they're both pressure fighters. Spence can box as well. But the fact is, can you keep someone like Virgil Ortiz off? Spence has got power and he's a big welterweight himself. So, Ortiz can't just walk forward recklessly. He'll have to be careful because Spence will have something waiting for him. It's a very interesting matchup, in my opinion. Very interesting matchup and a dangerous matchup for Spence. I'm telling you, a dangerous matchup for Spence. And in terms of Jaron Boots Ennis, wow, that guy's a monster. To be honest, and this may be premature and people may disagree with me here. I think Jaron Boots Ennis beats them all. I think Jaron Boots Ennis may beat them all. Jaron Boots Ennis may beat them all. I'm not joking with you guys. Jaron Boots Ennis and Virgil Ortiz are a problem. Are a big, 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 big problem. Jaron Boots Ennis, right? He looks sensational. Now, here's the thing. Jaron Boots Ennis' resume or his level of opponents haven't been that great in the sense where we can say that he would beat Crawford and Spence, because I'm very high on resume, as you guys know. But there's certain fighters that you see and you can tell that this guy's special. You can tell that this guy is gifted and he's a special fighter. And Jaron Boots Ennis, for me, sits in that category. He's looks like a generational talent. Now, we do want to see that talent in against there with much tougher opposition than what he's been in there with at this point. But he looks very, very special. And when I mean he looks special, this guy looks something else. This guy, right now, looks something else. And if they were to fight, if Jaron Boots Ennis was to fight Crawford, or if Jaron Boots Ennis was to fight Spence, I would favor Jaron Boots Ennis. And it's crazy, I would say that. It's crazy, I would say that. But that's how highly I rate Jaron Boots Ennis. And I think Jaron Boots Ennis beats Virgil Ortiz. I do. I think both Ortiz and Ennis are a problem. But I think Ennis is a future superstar. Not just at 147, but maybe the weight classes above. The guy looks really special, and he's a big, big welterweight. He's a big, big welterweight. Like, I'm talking big. You know, the way he keeps dismantling guys. And some of these guys, I'm not saying these are top elite fighters, but some of these guys like Thomas Delorme, Sergey Lipnets, they know they can fight. You know, and he's just going in there and making them look like they're nobodies, you know. I know Delorme was really a 140-pounder, but the way he just dismantled Delorme, yeah, I think this kid, I think we've got something special. And Virgil Ortiz is also a great, great fighter. I think both of them are a problem for Crawford and Spence. I think Ennis, I would favor them. I would favor Ennis over them. Ortiz, I would favor Spence and Crawford. But Ortiz is I won't be surprised if Ortiz beats one of them either, because, like I said, I think Ortiz is really, really good. Really, really good. And yeah, I think those two guys are going to be a serious problem in the welterweight division. Serious problem. When I look at those two fight, they're both dangerous fighters. They're vicious, they're spiteful, they're horrible. You know, I know over here we're talking about Conor Benn, but I don't think Conor Benn's in their kind of league. I don't. I think Virgil Ortiz and Ennis are horrible to fight. Horrible. I think, like I said, I think Ennis might beat them all right now. I think Ortiz, I'm not so sure if he beats Spence or Crawford. And even Ugas might be a tough fight for Ortiz. But Ortiz is strong, and he's, like I said, I think, again, with Ugas may have a problem. If you can't keep Ortiz off of him, Ortiz might just walk straight through him. You know, like I said, Ortiz is a problem because he's strong, he's big, and he's bullish. You know, he just walks through you. So that's a very interesting matchup. Like I said, I think there's some great matchups to be made in the welterweight division. And you'd have to now start taking guys like Ennis and Ortiz seriously, because I think Ennis is a big problem. I think Ennis is a monster. I do. I think Ennis is a monster, and I think Virgil Ortiz is a monster. I don't think Virgil Ortiz he's a problem. He's a big problem. So I'm looking forward to how the welterweight division plays out. But yeah, I definitely see Ennis as a big problem. I see Ortiz as a big problem. But I would pick Terence Crawford to become undisputed if it doesn't involve fighting Ennis or Ortiz at this point. I do think Terence Crawford beats all the older guard, like your Thurmans, your Danny Garcias, your Spences. I think Terence Crawford probably beats them all. But I think the younger guard might be a problem. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.